Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Tracer Touring series where I'm showing how to prepare your Yamaha Tracer for long distance touring. Now there's a lot of tips that also apply to other bikes, but it's in general for long distance touring and specifically how to equip this bike for a longer distance touring event. Today I have a bunch of things to talk about, so I'm going to split in several videos because then it's easier to find what exactly you want to see and what not. So the first video is just me complaining. So I'm very good at that. I'm very good at complaining, so I hope you don't mind. But I have some news that I want to complain about and I think are important for you guys to listen as well. And it's specifically, and you probably know because of the title I'm going to give to this video, but it's specifically complaining about the GPS system that I bought last week and that I showed in one of the videos. That's the Garmin Zumo 590LM, which is a bike-specific GPS system, and it has some fancy extras that I really liked, which was one of them was the tire pressure sensor for motorcycles, wireless sensors that would tell the unit that the pressure on the tires is low. But apart from that, it's just a very powerful navigation system for motorcycles. And I was really excited to have it and to use it and test it. So I've been testing it on the past few days. And in the end, I had to return it, because to put it very simply, to me, it's unusable. It's an unusable system, and it's not the device itself, it's not the software, it's just the possibilities that you can do, of what you can do with it, and they just don't match my expectation. And I'm going to explain. So I have my whole trip to Scotland prepared. I've decided the exact roads I want to take, when I want to stop, when I want to go. And I have a navigation system, so if I change the plans, I can always adjust on the fly, and that's fine. And the GPS system from Garmin, this specific unit, I'm sure it would work fine in that situation. But I hope I don't have to change plans, that nothing happens, and I can follow the exact route that I've decided. And that is the big problem. So I've defined the roads in a lot of detail on Google Maps. And then I exported them as GPX files, which is a exchange format that's used between all of the GPS manufacturers. So I've exported all the routes. Typically, a route would be half a day of riding, from morning until lunchtime. So I had about 20 routes, something like that. And I exported them all to GPX files. And then I wanted to import them to the device and tell it, take me through this route, but give me guidance, give me instructions like turn left in 300 meters, turn right, go over the roundabout, things like that. Because that's exactly what I want from the GPS is guided instructions, but I want to decide the route beforehand. And I don't think that's a crazy idea. I've seen a lot of people asking for this on the web, and the problem of this device and of Garmin in general is that it does not allow you to do that. It forces you to use the route that they calculate. So you can, and it gets even worse. They have a software, a PC software, and I think it also exists for Mac, but they have a PC software called Basecamp, which is free. And when you connect your device to your computer, it will load the maps from the device, and it will allow you to program all your routes and things like that. It also allows you to import the GPX files, see them, export them, and send to the device. So that's all very fine. But the real issue is, I did all of those steps, right? And then when I sent to the device the routes, one per day, I have an option. When you turn on the device, it asks, I have detected new routes. Do you want to import them? And you have to say, yes, I want to import them, otherwise they'll be ignored. And when it imports them, it goes into a menu that's called Trip Planner. Then you go into that menu and you see those routes in there. And you select one, like first day, first morning, and you say, show it to me. And you have the option to show it on the map. So you click on show it on the map and it's perfect. It's exactly how it was on the computer, and it's exactly how it was on my head and on Google Maps. So it has all the little roads that I've selected that are there. So it's fine in the device. But then when I click the go button, where it starts to guide me through the route, it recalculates. And it recalculates with its own parameters that you can define on the Basecamp PC software. You can also define on the device, but it will never match what I've defined, because I want to go here, then I want to go there, and then I want to go there in the whole morning. And it will just take me from A to B. So it might be more curvy, it might avoid highways, things like that, but it doesn't go through the places I want. So that was a real disappointment. And then I started looking on the internet, problems and how to solve it, other people's feedback. And I saw a lot of people with the same issues. I didn't find solutions. What I noticed is that previous models supported this functionality. So you could define a route on another software or have it from a friend that rode a nice road and then decided to share with you this standard GPX file, and you could load it on your device and then you go and write it yourself and you don't get lost. So the previous models supported this, but this new generation of devices don't support it anymore. And so I couldn't find a solution. And then what people would say is that, you need to import the route in a way that when the device recalculates, you end up with the same result. And that means adding specific waypoints along the way that forces the route to go from here to there. Because when you define with a GPX track, you have thousands of points along the route, and the unit is ignoring those. So it's not guiding you through those. So it's only going from beginning to end. So I started doing that. I thought, okay, I will have to redefine or recreate all the routes that I did in Google Maps. I'll have to recreate in the Garmin Basecamp software. It's a bummer, but it's doable. It's a solution. It's not the best one, but it's doable. So I've decided to do that. But now, of course, I only did it for the first day because I was not going to do 20 routes and then it could not work. So I did it for the first day. I defined beginning and end, and it just calculates one route. And then I say, no, I want to go through this road. So I put a point there, a waypoint there. And it calculates through that road and then to the end. And then another road and another road. And in the end, with 5 or 6 intermediate stops, let's say, I could define this route. So then I exported that and sent to the device. When I open on the device, again, I see on the map and it looks perfect. I hit go and it recalculates. And the problem there is I thought this would work, right? But it doesn't. It doesn't because when you hit go, it asks you, where do you want to go next? Which of these start and end and 5 in-between points do you want to go next? Which is a strange question. What do you mean? I want to follow this route. It's one route. It's only one route that I define on the software and I import it to the device. So what do you mean by where do I want to go next? I want to go from start to end, maybe from end to start. But anyway, I said, well, I want to go to the end, right? I want to follow the whole route. And then what the device does is recalculate the route from start to end and ignores all the in-between points. I said, well, we're back to start, right? That's how I was with the GPX file. So then I tried again instead of selecting I want to go to the final point, I said I want to go to the first of the intermediary points. And then it worked. Then it used the same logic that the software on the PC used to guide me from point 1 to point 2. So that could work. Now the problem is, once you get to the first point, and I've tested that, I was no longer using the Scotland routes. I was using some routes around here just to see how it would work. The problem is when you get to the first waypoint that you define that you want to go to, the navigation stops. And then you have to select again the same route and say, now I want to go to the second point. And then it will calculate the route from where you are to the second point. So if you're at the first point, it will calculate to the second point. So this was a small test route, and if I would take some of the half days that I have in Scotland, I would have 30 or more waypoints in between, and it would force me to stop on all of those and tell it, keep on guiding me to the next point. And some of those points are on roads where I don't want to stop. I just drop them in somewhere in the road because I want the route to go through there. So that to me is really a deal breaker and a major disappointment on the Garmin experience and the software. Because if you look at it on a philosophical perspective, I'm riding my bike because I like liberty. And I like to define the route. I like to know where I'm going and what I'm going to see. I want to make the most out of the trip. But, it's my decision. It's my freedom to decide where I want to go. And all I need is a bit of support when I'm riding so that, I don't have to stop and look at the map and ask for directions and things like that. And what they are doing is taking away that liberty and forcing you to use what they think is the best route for you. And that's just not how it works, especially with motorbikes. That's not what I want. If I'm in my car and I want to go somewhere that I don't know the way, yes, I'll take whatever the GPS gives me, because at least I'll get there and I don't know the way, and it's much easier than using a map. But in this case, for motorcycles and for touring, that's not what I want. I don't want to go from A to B. I don't want to go from A to B avoiding highways or using curvy roads or anything like that. I want to take these roads because I know which ones they are. And I understand there are people and there are situations where you just want to go from A to B with a motorcycle. I also have those things. I sometimes need to meet friends somewhere I don't know and I want to get there, and then we'll see where we ride. But the software needs to, and the device needs to give you the possibility to ride where you want, and it's not giving you. So it's really frustrating that it's just forcing you to follow whatever the Garmin engineers think you want. And I also have another complaint about the Garmin, which is the curvy roads feature. It's a feature that supposedly, when you tell it to calculate a route, it will select the best route, for a motorcycle, which is a curvy road in their opinion. Of course, there are many types of curvy roads. There are curvy roads that are really nice and others that are really crappy. So I don't want to follow the crappy roads. But nonetheless, it's called curvy roads and you tell it to calculate curvy roads. Now, I live close to a big city and I have to cross the city from work to here. So I've tested coming from work to here. And I said, take me on the curvy roads. And the curvy road definition for Garmin is take you through the city. Take you through the most convoluted streets and turns and red lights and crossings and things like that. It's the worst route that they could ever give. If I want to ride my bike, take me out of the city. Why would I want to stop in 30 red lights and 20 junctions and things like that? That's not a curvy road. Just because there are junctions and you can turn left and right doesn't mean it's curvy. It doesn't mean it's pleasant. So yeah, if I'm in the Alps and I select a curvy road, it will probably work. But on the other hand, are there non-curvy roads in the Alps that it could select? So I don't really understand what that setting is all about. But it doesn't matter because I could just choose not to use it. What it really pissed me off was that I could not use a predefined route from anybody. And there's websites where you can just download these routes and follow. And I'm going to places I don't know. So if I have information from previous riders where it's cool to ride and where it's not, I want to follow that. I don't want to go 3 days away and get there and just select all the crappy roads, and then when I get back I hear, oh, you should have taken the other one, it's much nicer. No, I want to prepare in advance and follow that. So in the end I decided to return the device. I've also returned the tire sensors, and I've ordered the TomTom Rider. I was never a big fan of TomTom, but in this case, the Garmin is not working. It's not cutting it for me. So I'm going to try the TomTom. Now, TomTom says on their website that you can ride routes, you can import and then follow routes that people have previously recorded. So that's exactly what I want. Now, of course, they're always very cryptic with these great looking web pages because they don't say if that means I can import a GPX file or if I need to redefine the route on their software, or maybe even it only works if the previous person also recorded with the TomTom device. Maybe it doesn't work if I download it from the web. I don't know. So I'll have to test that. I hope it works this time. At least they're a bit more explicit than Garmin, because Garmin just talks about routes and tracks and nobody really knows what they mean with routes and tracks. There's so many different definitions for that, and they don't say explicitly anything. They're very very cryptic on their website. So I hope the TomTom works better. And so I've ordered it, and it should come in a couple of days, and then I'll be testing it and I'll be reviewing it, and I hope it works this time, because if these two fail, then I don't know how I'm going to guide around Scotland. I mean, I've been using my phone, and that works fine. I don't know of any apps that you can just follow the GPS, but I'm sure they exist, so I just have to search. The problem with the phone is it's not waterproof, so it can be a pain if you're riding, especially in Scotland, where everybody told me it will rain for sure. So I could cover it with some kind of plastic or something like that. It's not ideal, but it could work. But also then the power plug of the bike is not waterproof. And, you know, with a phone using the GPS, you have to have it plugged all the time, because it will drain the battery in half an hour. So I don't know how I would plug it and feed it. Now the tank bag, the GV tank bag that I installed on the previous video, it has an electricity waterproof connection, so that could be a solution. I really don't want that, so I'll try the TomTom, but if it doesn't work, then that's what I'll probably do. I'll probably install the electric connection to the tank bag and have my phone in there guiding me, which is, you know, which is not ideal, but that's what we'll have to do. Or I will use paper maps, which is also another option. And I don't have a problem with that. It's just that, you know, it's less handy. You don't hear the instructions. You have paper, so if it's raining, it's a problem. You have to keep looking down, but I'll do fine. I won't get lost, that's for sure. It's just not ideal. So those are the news that I have on the Garmin device. I really am disappointed with what they built, because I think in the end they probably don't use the device that they sell, and they have no idea what people want. And I've seen on the internet, on the Garmin forums, people complaining loudly about it, and there's no reaction from the company, there's no change in sight, there's nothing. So are they just ignoring people? Do they think that they know better than people that use the devices? I don't know. Is my use case a niche? You know, something that only a couple of guys in the world want to? Maybe. But then if it is, then it doesn't work for me. And if you want such a functionality, just steer away from it, because it won't deliver. So those are the news. I have other stuff that I want to talk about, and I will do it on a separate video. But I would like to remind you to subscribe if you want to see all the new stuff that's coming. And hit like if you liked the video. And let me know in the comments if you were able to do what I cannot do, if you had a similar experience, if it works better with the TomTom. I really hope so. And see you next time. Thank you.